Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and in this video what I want to do is talk about how to use SQL files with Postgres. So what I'm going to do is I'm in my root folder and I'm going to just make a new folder called SQL Files. Make dir SQL Files. Let's cd into that folder, SQL Files. Now in Postgres, I don't have to log into Postgres to create a database. I could just create a database right from here, create DB, and we'll create DB test2 because I already created a test1. Okay, test2. So that'll take a second, and the database is created. Cool. So now let's create an SQL file. The idea behind an SQL file is to be able to write all your commands ahead of time, so that way you can rerun the same batch of commands over and over again. This is particularly useful when it comes to seeding databases, so that way if you have to drop the database and rebuild it, you don't have to go through the whole process of typing in all the commands over again. So I'm going to use Nano to create a new file. So Nano, we'll just call this cat.sql. We'll call this catseed. Catseed.sql. Okay, because we're going to use this to seed the table. So what this is going to do is that we're going to run this in that test2 database that we already created. So we can just run the commands that go from there. So create table cat, and it's just going to have a name, which is a, well, actually first an ID, which is a serial field, name, which is a varchar field of up to 30 characters, and we'll have an age field, which is an integer. Okay, so there's our first command. Then we're going to create some cats, so insert into cat, and we're going to give the name and the age. So name, age, and then we'll give values, and we'll just create a bunch of cats. So first cat will be called Freddy, and is 6 years old. Then we'll create another cat, Mittens, which is 7-year-old. And we'll have Snuffles, who is 4. And there we go. So we created some cats. So insert into, and just because I like to be picky, I like to make sure that all my keywords are capitalized. So insert into cat, name, age, and then we'll bring up those cats. Select all from cat. Okay, so there we go. So it's going to create a table called cat, insert 3 cats, and then bring up the table of cats. So I'm going to hit Control X, because in Nano, to leave the Nano, I have to hit Control X, which now asks me if do I want to save. So I'm going to hit Y to save. Then I'm going to hit Enter to confirm the file name. Okay, and then I'm just going to do an ls, make sure that the file exists. There it is. Okay, and since I'm in the same folder as the file, I don't have to do like a absolute file path. I can use a relative file path. So I do psql, which is the command for Postgres. I'm going to specify that I want to open up the database test2. So I'm specifically working with test2. And I want to open up the file in that database, catseed.sql. So that's what this command is saying. Hey, open up the catseed.sql file from the test2 database. So it'll run those commands in that, assuming that the starting point's that database. So now I'll run the command and see, it created the table. It inserted 3 cats, and then they are Freddy, Mittens, and Snuffles. Okay, very nice. So the benefit is now I can run very specific queries, and I can run them in other files. So that way, if I need to run the same query again, I don't have to create a new file. So I can do this. I can do nano, okay, cat query.sql. And let's say I want to select all from cat where ID equals 3. So I just want I think it was Snuffles. So I'll close that file, save it. So Control X, yes, and enter. And I will now, instead it's going to be cat query.sql. And see, it gets Snuffles. But now if I change the database, so if I change this to test1, it shouldn't work because that table doesn't exist. Okay, so see, it says, hey, there's no cat table here. Okay, that's not the only way I can run that file. I could also do it from within PSQL. So I will open up PSQL from test2. Okay, so now see I'm in the test2 database. And what I can do is I run, I think the command is I, and the file name, I catquery.sql. Yep, and see it works. So I can run it when I'm inside the PSQL shell, and I can run it when I'm outside the PSQL shell, depending on how I want to do it. And then so you can create files, so that way you don't have to constantly remember what commands you did. You can just do all your commands, create different files to set up the table, to create and seed the table, other ones to do standard queries, and you just call the files you need as you need them. So hopefully you guys found this informative. My name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com and devnursery.com. Make sure to join the Dev Nursery community over there on Slack and Discord. Have a great day and enjoy.